Oh man, the Lakers lost again. Lost by 10 in Minnesota. That's two in a row. No LeBron. What's going on, man? But wait a minute. It all depends on how you look at it. And I choose to look at the positives. First of all, this was the best defensive performance by the Lakers, in my opinion, by far. I mean, when you hold Minnesota to 40% from the field, including 28% from three-point range, you only lose by 10 points despite committing 22 turnovers. I'm not into moral victories, but what I am into is tremendous improvement. So what am I talking about? Well, first of all, the game started off, the Lakers were just kind of tossing the ball all over the place. They didn't secure anything. Dribbling was bad, passing was bad, and their attitude was kind of bad. They kind of came into this game sleepwalking a little bit. You have Austin Reeves back from injury, and I don't think he was rusty necessarily. I just think he came back playing the way the Lakers were playing back when he was playing before his injury. What I call that is the old Lakers. The old Lakers is only about, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. That's old Lakers. So I just thought Austin came in with some nonchalance, and he wasn't in tune with what has been going on, say, for the last 3 games. And when he came in with his nonchalance, other people did. They're just, throwing the ball anywhere. Max 4 turnovers. AD was it 3 or 4 turnovers? They're just lax, and it's kind of hard to understand because Minnesota is surging, and Minnesota is always going to be on that defense. They have some of the biggest problems. You have the Defensive Player of the Year, but to me, very underrated Anthony Edwards' defense. When he gets after people, pretty much have to give the ball up. Just give it up. Don't try and there's nothing to prove there because you're going to lose. Jaden McDaniels is an unbelievable problem. He had 5 steals and 2 blocks and was just all over the place. And he always seemed to pop up when the Lakers were sleeping or, that type of ordeal. It's all of a sudden here comes Jaden with that long wingspan and his hands, and he just gets into stuff. And he never seems happy, which, for Minnesota is kind of a good thing. He's always on the prowl. He's always angry and trying to make plays. And then you have D'Lo coming in off the bench, and immediately the referees just pull their whistles out and just start hitting them with stuff. And so he only got out there for 4 minutes and 3 fouls in 4 minutes. So things were just not looking good early on. But to me, the bright spots, something that was very encouraging was the effort of Christian Coloco and Cam Reddish. Those 2 guys, when you think about the new Lakers, these guys, ball pressure, block shots, rebounding. Cam Reddish had 3 offensive rebounds. He was all over the place. He's just in there, sticking his hands in there, reaching in, flying in for rebounds. Coloco, one thing I look for with him is how he runs the floor, and he looked like a an 800-meter track athlete. I mean, every time he's just up and down with that long stride. And then finally, he put to use his 7'5" wingspan. 7 foot tall with a 7'5" wingspan. In games previous, I mean, for the whole season, it just seems like everybody, if you need a bucket, you can just go right over the top of Koloko. But not this time. Koloko is almost like he's back to who he is. He blocks shots. He alters shots. He has quick feet, and that's how it should be. When you go down in the paint, and it doesn't matter. He's 230 pounds. It doesn't matter. I mean, people get into you always have to bulk up, and you have to. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. You have to play to your strengths, and then you assist there. But putting an extra 30 pounds on him makes him slow and immobile, and that's what you want. You want someone that's very quick. Anytime something goes in the paint, you always have to be thinking that Koloko's on the way, and that's what he was last night, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. Lakers got very stingy in the second half with the ball after 11 first quarter turnovers. Unbelievable. I thought they were going to set an NBA record. And it's like after you have like 5 or 6, you would think, guys would tighten up, but they just kept going and going and going. But then they, once they nipped it in the bud, the Lakers definitely controlled the game with defense. They weren't hitting shots. Nothing was falling. But when I see, these guys flying around and getting their hands on balls and rebounding, and I see Dalton Connect just not settling for threes. He's getting his hands on stuff, rebounding. Going from the mid range. He's starting to activate his curiosity. He's looking into things other than just settling for threes and then getting scored on. Another thing that was very impressive is, I constantly talk about bending your knees, and Rui Hachimura was out there bending his knees. He played an excellent defensive game. Randall was out there just pounding and pounding his body, and Rui just wouldn't relent. That was big. I mean, Randall, he had a pretty good game, but he started out strong, but, in his mind, he was thinking he was going to run wild. And it was actually Rui and then the bigs behind him. They started shutting the paint down. And, it's a good thing to me. I don't term it starting out slow, but you pace yourself and you build throughout the game. And that's what the Lakers did defensively. It just, they just tighten the screws more and more and more until pretty much outside of being marched to the free throw line, Minnesota really struggled. And it was legitimate. It wasn't like they were just missing shots. I mean, they were being shut down, and the Lakers were swarming. And, it's just something you're not used to seeing with the Lakers last few years even. I'm not going to, try and go back and figure out exactly when the last time I saw some swarming. But I saw some swarming last night, and that's really encouraging. I mean, if you reduce turnovers by even 5 and you hit a few more free throws, 1 or 2 more threes drop, and you have one heck of a game, and with Minnesota trying to get out of there with their lives. And that's what you want. The one player that I was also paying a little extra attention to was Gabe Vincent. Like I said, I'm really interested in trying to figure out if he wants to be in Lakerland or not. if I go by the first half, you know, he just looked like he was playing some pickup ball or whatever. And then he took some very questionable shots, like, you know, my turn shots. As of right now, Gabe Vincent is at his best on catch and shoot. And, you know, he doesn't necessarily have to be that open. But when he tries to create his own offense, it's not a good thing in my book. I mean, I've been doing what I do for a long time, and when he gets to trying to create his offense, it just looks selfish, and it looks like he's just trying to get his. But when he plays according to the flow of the game, you know, he's the type of player that he makes you pay. You know, you try and play around with the Lakers, and it comes over to Gabe, he's gonna make you pay if he's in the right frame of mind. Second half, Vincent was a problem. He was efficient. He made the right plays. He didn't try to do anything extra, and that's when you felt the ship start to steady. You know, when Gabe is solid, that's all he has to do is be solid and guard, and that's what he did. I mean, especially there was that play when Randall tried to post him up, and Gabe was not going for it, and he stood his ground. Actually, he stood Randall up. Testament to Gabe, his resilience, his stubbornness. That's what I like to see out of Gabe. He's for me, he's like a right-handed Derek Fisher. That's what I think about him. And Derek Fisher was absolutely a winner. And I think the same of Gabe when he's in the right frame of mind. Valiant effort by the Lakers. And for me, I'm not at all down, depressed, or anything like that. Lakers are, it takes time when you try to change your identity and set foundations for yourself. Lakers are getting into defense. And it's not about, big names and all that stuff. It's about what kind of effort and what your attitude is. Max Christie, fantastic after he got the turnovers out of his system. And then Russell came in and started to orchestrate. And I don't, like I said, no moral victories or anything like that. The Lakers are serious. The Lakers have gotten serious. They started out shaky, but they put the excuses to bed. They didn't use shorthandedness as an excuse. They didn't owe the mighty Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, all that stuff. Oh my God. They came in, and after that first quarter, they started busting people in the mouth. And that's what it's all about. So I think next up is Memphis. We're going to start busting people in the mouth. I'm out.